Alright, today's video topic is disgustingly simple. Progressive overload is very, very, very difficult unless you eat more food. And people may overlook this and think it's, expected, but I can tell you from experience, if you aren't tracking your calories and you aren't aware of what your food is made up of, there's extremely high likelihood that you aren't eating enough. Especially if you aren't noticing consistent strength gains and weight, control on the scales. Like, if you're trying to get bigger and put on muscle, the scales should be going up and you should be getting stronger. So if it's not, it's almost certainly you're not eating enough and you're not getting enough protein in. And I'm making this video because I was literally in this same situation. I wasn't tracking my calories, oh yeah, I'm eating enough food. When in reality, I was sitting below maintenance most days. I was basically cutting and then wondering why the scales weren't going up. I was having my first meal at lunchtime and, wondering why I'm only getting, the scales aren't moving. And I spend months and months of time, fluctuating between 1 kilo. And so I started tracking my calories and I realized that I'm about 500 to 1,000 under where I need to be in terms of putting on muscle and increasing my strength and actually putting on weight, in a typical bulk fashion. And so if you think you're above, tracking your food, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's what I'm trying to say. Especially if you're not, planning on actually prepping for competition or whatnot, or you don't plan on competing. As long as you roughly track, how many calories you're eating, what exercise you're doing, how much protein you're getting, the scales will move and you will achieve your physical goals much more consistently. And it's stupidly simple, but that's it. I could sit here and yap for hours and hours about all kinds of useless things, but it's that simple. Just start tracking your calories, whether it's MyFitnessPal or whatever app it is. Start tracking what you're eating and, set yourself a goal, whether it's, put on 5 kilos or whatever it is. Set yourself a goal, and then most of the apps will set you your calorie budget based on your maintenance and your activity levels and whatnot. And then just aim for that. And if you're not eating enough, we'll eat more. That's why I titled it the way I did, eat more food. If you eat more food, you're going to put on more weight. And if you're eating the right food and getting protein in, that'll be part of that will be muscle. And you will be getting stronger in the gym. I always wondered why I was progressing so slowly and so struggling to, gain weight and gain strength. My progressive overload was that of, upper natural limit bodybuilders. I was not putting on strength, and this is not like I'm benching anything nuts. This is still, barely intermediate weights. Barely benching 70 kilos. It's not crazy stuff that should be justified, the lack of progressive overload. And by eating more, every workout is, heavier weight, more reps. It literally feels like it's noob gains all over again. And I can see the mass being put on and the pumps are better and all this stuff. And I'm kind of mad at myself that I didn't take my eating seriously enough. I get that most of how you look is in the kitchen. But until you actually start tracking your calories and aiming, trying to actually get towards a target, do you actually get anything, make any real progress? Because you can be pushing so hard in the gym, but if your body isn't fueled enough, you're not going to be able to recover. And that's the whole point of protein. Protein is supposed to help recovery and help that muscle synthesis overnight. And so if you aren't getting, if you're getting 100 grams of protein in and you're eating 2,000 calories a day, of course you're not going to be putting on weight and getting stronger, because your muscles have got nothing to use, haven't got enough fuel to use. And that's why you see people in the cut struggling so much with, even have to take step backs in weight, because they just don't have the protein and the calories to recover and to actually continue building more muscle. Because their calories are down, their protein's down, and their strength is down. Their body just can't physically move that weight, because it's not recovering as efficiently as it does when you're in a calorie surplus and when you're getting plenty of protein. So, especially for new lifters, start tracking your macros, your calories, and your activity, and make that a habit, because I believe that is part of going to the gym, just like it is training every muscle group at least once a week. It just should become automatic, weighing yourself daily should become part of your daily routine. Tracking your food every day, become part of your routine. And as soon as you become aware of it, it becomes so much easier to start implementing things to increase, decrease, whatever it needs to be in order to reach your goals. So yeah, it's fuck, sorry. It's not complicated. It's just a matter of actually respecting the diet aspect of improving your physique. And it takes, I haven't even been doing it a month, properly tracking. I think I've just ticked over a month. And I've literally added like 10 kilos to my deadlift. That's like reps deadlift. That's not a PR. That's like for 3 sets for reps deadlift. And just about every single movement that I do frequently has probably increased by 10, 15, 20%, maybe even more. And it feels like what everyone says noob gains feel like. Yet I'm 2 years, I'm closing in on I'm past my 2nd year of lifting. So for the best part of 18 months, probably more, 20 months of my first, my noob gains that I'm supposed to get, I basically didn't get, because I wasn't eating enough food in order to recover and to actually build muscle. So that's about it. If you're new to the gym, if you are struggling to see gains and you're not tracking your calories and your macros, start doing it. You'll be amazed at how little you're probably eating. And it's basically free. You're leaving free gains on the table. So if you're still here at the end of the video, I love you, and remember, life is what you make it.